Welcome to this tutorial on getting started with OrientDB. In this tutorial, we'll simply just download OrientDB and get set up and make sure that we can run queries. To get OrientDB is pretty simple. You need to get to the OrientDB site. You can simply search for OrientDB and you'll find a couple of hits. One for the orientdb.org. We'll take a look at that one first. If you click on that, it should bring you to OrientDB. I have this set up a little big here, but you'll see there's a community, some information about OrientDB and so on. But this is not where you find the download itself, although you can probably navigate to it from here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the second hit here, which is orienttechnologies.com. And right on the front page here, you get to download the tool. This is the commercial company sitting behind it, and that is maintaining it. It's an open source project, but there is an enterprise version that you'll have to pay for. But right now, we're going to just simply download the community edition. Right now, at this particular moment, I have version 1.6.2 that is there, but there's also some instruction of how to do it here. You'll have to fill in the form, just some simple information here. I'll just fill in my information, and I don't know what to put for my role. I guess I could maybe I'll just call it founder or something. SciSpike is not that small, but I'm one of the founders there, so maybe that's the right role. Could have called them mad scientist, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to download the Mac version for me. You see there is a Windows version there too, but I'm going to download the Mac version. And that should start the download, and we can see the download here running in the background. As soon as this has been downloaded, we'll go to the command line and install it. So now I've gone to the command line. I'm going to make a directory where I can place my OrientDB. Maybe just call it progs. CD into that. My OrientDB should be under my downloads directory, so I need to move it from there. I may have a couple of different versions here. It doesn't autocomplete. I see what's the problem. I need to make it downloads. So OrientDB, I have a couple of versions here. The one I downloaded earlier was the OrientDB Community 162. So I'm going to take that one and move it to this directory, and then simply do the tar -xvf, or you can use some UI tool to do this too, but this should expand it. And there we go. If you do an ls now, you'll see I'll keep the tar file here, but we could go into the OrientDB community. Now, interestingly here, you can also install it with brew, although it seems the brew runs a little bit behind. So if I install OrientDB here, you'll find the brew search will find OrientDB. At least at present moment, it would install 1.3, which I don't want. Although strictly not necessary, you could add a user at this point. Now, if you go into the config directory, there is a file there called db server or OrientDB server -config.xml. I'm going to set up a user here to start off. I actually have started OrientDB here before, so when OrientDB starts it in this version, it adds a couple of users. In fact, those two, there are 3 user entries here. One which I set up earlier, and 2 that was set up by OrientDB. And all I'm going to do here is just show you how to do it. But if you search for the users section, you can add an entry for the user. The password here is the password you actually have to enter. I know the password on the root here looks very long, and it's some generated password, but I'm just going to set it up to easy to remember. And so I have a user. This is when I want to go in and look at the databases more from an admin perspective. But as I said, this is not strictly necessary, and I should be able to now to go back, and we'll start up OrientDB next. Starting up OrientDB is very trivial. If you're in the directory where OrientDB was installed, you should be able to cd into the bin directory. And here you'll find a few different files, different ways of starting it up. We're going to focus on the server.sh, which is the local server. And really, it's really just starting it up and it will run, no configuration required. One way of looking at the data in OrientDB is to use the OrientDB Studio. To do that, you have to open up a browser on localhost 2480. This should bring up the OrientDB Studio, and you should be able to do queries from here. Now, you may have gotten a login screen, and that's why I showed you where the users could have been put in. So I could probably, it would look something like this. And I had to pick the server management to enforce that. But anyway, we're going to look at the Grateful Dead concert, which is a database that comes with the download. And I'm going to use reader here, but we could have used writer or admin with different permissions. When I connect, I will get a command line which allows me to make queries. I could, for instance, do select star from anything really. I'm going to do select star from V, from all the vertices, and that should give you an example of how things works. Now we can do any kind of query in here, but for this demo, all I wanted is for you to be able to run OrientDB and make sure that the OrientDB Studio comes up. So we're going to end the tutorial here. Well, thanks for watching, and if you have comments, please leave them so we can improve this video.